chapter 17 of the Third Testament, the new way of worshiping Elohim, part 2, starting with verse 68. When my disciple asked me to teach them to pray, I gave them as a norm the prayer you call the Lord's Prayer, YAH's prayer, giving them to understand that the true and perfect prayer is that similar to that of YAH, one which is born spontaneously of the heart and ascends to the Father. It must contain obedience, humility, confession, gratitude, faith, hope, and adoration. Daily prayer. Beloved disciple, practice spiritual prayer daily, putting into it all your intention of coming to perfection. See that in addition to entering into intimate communion with your Master and experiencing an infinite peace in those moments, it also represents the best opportunity for you to receive my divine inspirations. In them, you will find the explanation for all that you have not understood or that you have misunderstood. You will find the way to avoid some danger, to resolve a problem, or to resolve some confusion. In that hour of blessed spiritual communication, all your senses will clear, and you will feel more disposed and inclined to do good. Do not forsake the practice of prayer, even when it is brief as only 5 minutes, but in it know how to make a good examination with the light of your conscience in order to observe your deeds and know what you have to correct. If you lose the sense of time while elevating yourself in prayer, that will be an indication of spirituality, since you, even for a few moments, manage to go beyond time. That time which the slaves of materialism only use for their enjoyments or to increase their wealth. He who examines himself daily has to improve his manner of thinking, living, speaking, and feeling. I have taught you that through the prayer, wisdom will be acquired, but that is no reason that I want for you to prolong your prayers. I have asked you for a prayer of 5 minutes, and by that I mean to say for you to pray briefly, so that during those moments you will truly surrender yourselves to your Father, and the rest of your time you can dedicate it to your spiritual and material duties toward your brethren. I will teach you a manner of preparing yourselves so that your actions of each day are all inspired by noble sentiments, and so that the vicissitudes and difficulties do not stop you or force you back. When you open your eyes to a new day, pray. Come to me in your thoughts. Form your plan, inspired in my light, and rise up to struggle, determined to be strong, and not lacking either obedience or faith for an instant. Truly, I tell you, before much time has passed, you will marvel at your strength and at the results of your works. The day of rest as a period of reflection. From the first era, I taught you to consecrate the 7th day to me. If during 6 days man dedicates himself to fulfilling his human duties, it was just that one day at least be dedicated to the service of YAH. I did not ask that he consecrate the first day, but the last, so that he might rest from his labors and devote himself to meditation, giving to his Ruach the opportunity to approach the Father, to converse with him through prayer. The day of rest was instituted so that man, forgetting at least for a moment the difficult earthly struggle, would allow his conscience to talk to him, to remind him of the law, to examine himself, and to repent of his faults, and form within his heart the noble purpose of repentance. Saturday is the day that was previously dedicated to rest, prayer, and the study of the law, but the people, in complying with the tradition, forgot the sentiments for humanity and the spiritual duties that they had toward their fellows. Time passed, humanity evolved spiritually, and Mashiach, Messiah, came to teach you that even in the day of rest you should practice charity and good works of all kinds. Yahushua wished to say to you that one day was dedicated to mediation or meditation and physical rest. But you must understand that for the undertaking of the mission of the Ruach, there can be no day or time designated. In spite of the Master having spoken quite clearly, men distanced themselves, each one seeking the day that was the most propitious to them. And so, while some continued retaining Saturday as the day of rest, others adopted Sunday to celebrate their worships. Today I come to speak to you once again, and my teachings shall bring you new knowledge. You have lived many experiences and have evolved. Today it is not important which day you dedicate to rest from earthly fatigues, but it is important that you know that every day you must walk on the path that I have laid out for you. Understand that there is no fixed time for you to send your prayers upward, for it is proper for you to pray and practice my doctrine in favor of your brothers at all times. Ask, and it shall be given. All of you who bear a wound in your hearts, who better than I to penetrate to your interior? I know your bitterness, your sadness, and discouragement before such injustice and ingratitude as exists in your world. I know the fatigue of those who have lived and struggled on the earth, and those whose existence is for them a heavy burden. I know the emptiness of those who remain alone in this life. I say to you all, ask and it shall be given, for this have I come to give you what you need of me, whether that be company, tranquility, balm, missions, or light. Do not be afraid of misery. Misery is temporary, and in it you should pray, imitating the patience of Job. Abundance will return, and you will not find the words with which to thank me. When sickness overwhelms you, O blessed sick people, do not despair. Your Ruach is not ailing. Elevate yourselves to me in prayer, and your faith, Amunah, and spirituality will return the health of your body. Pray in the manner that I have taught you spiritually. During your moments of an ordeal, pray with a brief but pure and sincere prayer. Then you will feel comforted. And when you succeed in being in harmony with YAH, I will be able to tell you that my will is yours and your will is mine. Pray, but let your prayer be formed by your intentions and actions of the day. That will be your best prayer. But if you wish to direct a thought to me containing a petition, then say to me, Abba, Father, your will shall be done in me. You will be asking even more thereby than you could hope or understand. And in that simple phrase, that thought, you simplify Yahweh's prayer that you asked me for in another time. There you have the prayer that asks all and that speaks best for you. But do not say it with your lips, but rather feel it with your heart. For saying is not feeling, and if you feel it, you do not need to say it. I know how to hear the voice of the Ruach and understand its language. What greater joy can there be for you than to know that? Did you think that I needed you to tell me what to do? I have taught you to pray and to ask things for others. However, I also listen to you when you ask things for yourself. I do receive that prayer, yet I tell you that the time when I gave to you according to your petition, because you were small, has passed. Now I wish you to act like disciples. Talmudim, presenting to me your Ruach and your heart when you pray, but leaving it to me to read them and do my will. When you question or ask something of me, do exert yourselves to try to explain your problem clearly, nor bother to polish carefully constructed phrases. It is sufficient to me that your Ruach frees himself from the world for an instant and leaves your heart and understanding cleansed, so that they may receive my inspiration. What will it serve you to offer me lovely words if you are incapable of feeling my presence within you? I know all, and it is not necessary for you to explain anything to me for me to understand it. If you know how to understand my doctrine, it offers you many satisfactions, many opportunities to ascend. Learn to pray before making any decision, for prayer is the perfect form for asking your Father, since in it you will be demanding light and strength to continue forward in the struggle. Upon praying, soon an illumination will come to your understanding that will permit you to clearly distinguish good from evil, the correct from what you should not do, and that shall be a concrete proof that you knew to prepare yourselves to hear the voice of your conscience. Suffer hardships with patience, and if you do not manage to understand the significance of your trials, pray, and I shall reveal their meaning, so that you may accept them. Every time that your lips or thoughts say to me, Yahuwah, do not deny me your forgiveness, you are demonstrating your ignorance and confusion, as well as how little you know me. Do you tell me to have pity for your pain? Do you ask me to have mercy on my children? Do you beg me to forgive your sins? I who am love, clemency, charity, forgiveness, and pity? It is fine that you try to move those who on the earth have hardened hearts, and that you try to move to pity with tears and please those who have not an atom of charity toward their fellows, but do not use these forms or thoughts with He who created you from love in order to love you eternally. Be content with the great charity that the Father has entrusted to you for all things related to human life on the face of the earth. And do not ask for that which might cause the ruin of your ruach or substance. I have more to give you than you do to ask of me. But it is I who know what you really need on the road. I said to you that if you know how to follow my law, you shall behold me in all my splendor. The blessing of intercession. Do not become accustomed to praying only with words. Pray with the Ruach. I also say to you, bless with the prayer. Convey thoughts of light to your brethren. Do not ask anything for yourselves. Remember that he who serves me will always have me watching over him. The seed that you sow with love, you will receive multiplied. Do not pray only when you find yourselves going through some painful ordeal. Also pray when you are at peace, for it will be then that your hearts and thoughts can become occupied with others. Do not pray only for those who have helped you, or those who have not caused you any harm, for even though that is virtuous, it is not as worthy as assisting those who have previously harmed you. What is it that I teach you now? To bless everyone and everything with your entire heart and ruach, because who blesses in this way is similar to the Father in making their warmth come to all. Therefore I say to you, learn to bless with your ruach, with your thoughts and your heart, and your peace, strength, and warmth will reach whomever you send it to, no matter how far away they are. What would happen if all men blessed one another, even without having met? Perfect peace would reign on earth. War would be inconceivable. For that miracle to occur, it is necessary that you elevate your ruach by means of perseverance and virtue. Do you judge this to be impossible? Ask, and it shall be given, all that you wish in charity for your brothers. Ask me for it. Pray, unite your plea to that of the needy, and I shall concede what you ask. The necessity of prayer. Be watchful and pray. I repeat frequently, but I do not want you to familiarize yourself with this pleasant advice, but study it and put it into practice. I tell you to pray, for he who does not pray will surrender to thoughts which are superfluous, material, and sometimes unsound, with which unknowingly he encourages and fosters destructive wars. But when you pray, your thought, like a radiant sword, destroys the veils of darkness and the bonds of temptation. which today are imprisoning many beings, saturating the environment with spirituality and counteracting the forces of evil. Humanity has always been too busy with the great things of the earth to consider the importance that prayer and meditation have for that which is beyond this life, in order to discover its own essence. He who prays converses with the Father, and if he asks questions, receives instant replies. The ignorance of men about spirituality proceeds from their lack of prayer. You are approaching a time of true prayer, of worship without fanaticism, in which you will know how to pray before each undertaking, in which you will know how to watch over what has been entrusted to you, when you will know how to give fairly to your Ruach that which pertains to him, and to the world that which corresponds to it. How can men go wrong if instead of doing his own will, he first asks the Father through prayer? Who knows how to pray lives in contact with Elohim, knows the value of the benefits that he receives from the Father, and also understands the meaning and purpose of the trials that he passes through. The beneficial effects of practicing prayer. Throughout the eras, I have said to you, pray. Today, I say that by means of the prayer, you can obtain knowledge. If all men prayed, they would never deviate from the path of light outlined by me. Through the prayer, they would heal the sick. There would not be any more non-believers, and peace would again return to the Ruach Oath spirits. How can man be happy when he has rejected my grace? Favor. By chance, does he think that love, charity, and meekness are not attributes of the human heart? Know that the word that bears no love has neither life nor power. You ask me how you can begin to love and what you must do so that this sentiment awakens in your heart. And I tell you to start, know how to pray. Prayer will bring you to the Master, and I am that Master. In prayer, you will find consolation, inspiration, and strength. It will give you the sweet satisfaction of being able to speak intimately with Elohim, without witnesses or mediators. Elohim and your Ruach meeting in that sweet moment of confidences, spiritual communication, and blessings. Whenever you need a confidant and a good friend, seek me out and deposit in me the sorrows of your heart, and I will show you the best pathway, the solution you seek. If your Ruach is oppressed by sorrows, it is because you have sinned. I will receive you and will be benevolent in my judgment. I will strengthen your intention to reform and return to you your lost strength. Only the practicing of my teachings can keep you in grace, favor, and spiritual and physical health. The experience you gather will be light that you accumulate in your Ruach. The Ruach which knows how to be watchful will never depart from the route traced for him by YAH, and he is able to employ his heritage and his gifts until he achieves his elevation. That being shall progress in his trials, for he lives alert and never allows himself to be dominated by the material. He who prays and keeps vigil shall always emerge triumphant from the difficult times and will know how to walk with firm steps on the path of life. Oh, how different is the conduct of he who forgets to pray and keep watch. Voluntarily he renounces defending himself with the best arms I have placed in man, which are amunah, faith, love, and the light of wisdom. It is he who does not hear the inner voice that speaks to him through his intuition, his conscience, and his dreams. But the heart and mind do not understand that language and do not give credence to the message that comes from his own Ruach. Prayer is the means revealed to your Ruach to come to me with your questions, your uncertainties, and your yearning for light. Through that communication, you can dissipate your doubts or tear away the veil hiding some mystery. Prayer is the beginning of the Ruach to Ruach communication that in times to come will flourish and give its fruits to all humanity. Today I have revealed all this to the people who hear me, so that they may be the forerunners of the era of spirituality. The power of prayer. When one of you prays, you do not realize what you reach spiritually with your thoughts, and it is necessary that you know that when you pray for your brothers, for those people destroying themselves in war, in those moments your Ruach is prosecuting a war as well, a mental war against evil, and your sword, which is peace, reason, justice, and a yearning for the good of your brothers, clashes with the weapons of hatred, vengeance, and pride. This is the era in which men realize the power of prayer, and for prayer to have true power and light, it is necessary that it be sent up to me with love. Thought and the Ruach, united in prayer, create in mankind a force superior to any human strength. In prayer, the weak are strengthened, the coward dress in courage, the ignorant are illuminated, and the clumsy made able. The Ruach, when it has achieved harmony with the mind in order to reach true prayer, becomes an invisible soldier who leaves behind for a few moments that which touches his being and passes to other places, frees itself from the influence of the material and gives itself over to the struggle to do good, to banish danger and evil, and to bear within a glimmer of light a drop of balsam and a breath of peace to the needy. For all I tell you, understand how much you can do with the mind and Ruach in the midst of the chaos in which man is immersed. You are in a world of conflicting thoughts and ideas where passions for materialism are alive and the Ruach oath navigate in darkness. Only he who has learned through prayer to elevate himself in the thought and Ruach to the regions of light, to the dwellings of peace, may penetrate without being defeated to the world of contention, where all human passions are reflected, leaving in exchange something of value for those who have need of the light of the Ruach.